This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, they told me it's 1 o'clock, so I guess I'm going to call the meeting to order. Sit down. Okay. Pledge first? Not you first? Okay. Will we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to start with the roll call. Marie Beshen.
Here.
Roberta Ernest.
Here.
Marilyn Sorensen.
Here.
Becca Paulson.
Here online.
Steve Deal.
Here.
Jennifer Ellswick.
Here.
And Cindy Evans.
Here.
Thank you. Homeowner statement period. In person, speaker may speak for no more than 2 minutes. If attending virtually, please mute your audio. Please use the chat option for your questions. Comments should be addressed to concerns of the motion before the board takes formal action on an item under formal discussion on the table. Negative comments directed at residents, employees of the association, or board of directors will not be allowed.
Okay, thank you.
I move to approve the minutes from April 11th, 2024, Board of the Directors meeting with one amendment. The first line on the minutes says the meeting was called to order by Marie Beshen, and it was done by Roberta Ernest, and that change needs to be made to the minutes.
All those in favor? Second? Second. All those in favor with the correction?
Aye.
Motion approved. Okay. Financial report. Dawn?
As of our year end, April 30th, the cash balances in operating were $1,042,827. In reserves, $4,160,756. Activities, $187,547. The clubs, $155,775. And the asset improvement, $1,107,281.
Thank you. Becca, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I don't think so. I move to accept the March and April 2024 financial statements.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any comments or additions, changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. Okay. Committee reports. We don't have any reports. I move to approve Darla Gessler, March Harris, Karen Lacey, Kimberly Morris, Vicki Ray, and Beverly Youngren as members to the Landscape Committee, with Vicki Ray as chairperson. Okay. As comments, I would like to just say that I have spoken with all of these wonderful women, and the enthusiasm is marvelous, and they can't wait. They have already jumped on the bandwagon to get started. So I'm really looking forward to this committee. Any other comments? Considerations? All those in favor? Anything from the residents? Take the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Welcome. Anybody from the would the landscape committee members that are here stand up? Welcome. We all are very looking forward to this committee getting started and going forward, I can say. Okay. The next is Jennifer. I entertain a motion to approve the Ladies Aerobics Fitness Club
As a non-chartered club.
Yeah. You want to do that?
I move to change the Ladies Aerobics Fitness Group from a chartered club to a non-chartered club.
Second.
Any comments or?
Hi, I'm Sharon at 602. Can you clarify what a chartered club is and a non-chartered club, so in case anybody doesn't understand, please?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Sharon. A chartered club does not have to have officers. They can. They do not have to. They do not have to have a bank account. They are simply a club for fun. Way easier than a chartered club, which does have to have specific club guidelines, specific club bylaws. It's just a lot simpler. Are there other questions?
I want to make sure I understood you, because I heard you say chartered club. You mean a non-chartered club? does not have-
Non-chartered doesn't
Okay,
need,
thanks.
chartered needs.
So since there's a lot more work to a chartered club, why would a chartered club not want to be a non-chartered club? I mean, what would be the advantage?
The advantage is that the non-chartered clubs do collect dues, and if they do, time out. A chartered club does have to have officers, does have to have bylaws, does have to have guidelines, and they do collect dues. And if they collect dues and they have money in an account, then they have to have a specific person who monitors that money, a treasurer. They must submit that information to Dawn annually so that the funds are accounted for. So a chartered club, though, a chartered club does have the ability to have fundraisers, to make money, but with that comes the responsibility of taking care of that money.
They can do more projects. They can buy more equipment. They can do a lot of things.
Okay, I understand the chartered club, what
They
their
can do
benefits
things.
are,
Right.
but I'm just trying to understand. So you're just basically saying that a fitness kind of program wants to be non-charter. So why wouldn't they just be a fitness program instead of, I mean, do you have to be something chartered to be a group of people here? Like the card clubs, the card players and stuff, they're not clubs or anything, right?
No.
But
They're for fun.
if you are a club, that makes it easier for you to get on the schedule to use the rooms.
All right, so there is one more step,
Yes.
including reservations.
Right, so if you're a group of people that want to play mahjong, and you just decide to go into a room to play mahjong, you really can't do that without reserving the room through activities. Am I right, Thelma?
Thelma.
Thelma's right behind you.
So a non-chartered club, what happened is when the fitness club became a club, they went into a non-chartered status. A chartered status. All they're doing is bumping themselves back down to non-chartered because they don't collect dues or anything like that. So anytime that you're collecting dues, then you really need to be a chartered status because you have to have money. So, yeah, and then you get your facilities. So we have had a couple clubs because they don't want to turn in any information. They don't collect dues, so they're just a regular. Correct. Correct.
Okay, any other questions on the board? Call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay. Update on the trash. Mike. 6 months. 6 months update on the trash.
Do you want me to jump in or do you want Steve to jump in?
Well, Steve, do you have information for us?
The information is similar to what we had a month ago. At that time, we were waiting for Bill Powell to do some more financials. And I don't know whether Becca has those or not. I know that since we made that report, we've changed numbers of days and hours and all of those kinds of things for summer. So I'm not sure where we are financially. I just like to report that that facility has operated as we had hoped. We have had great participation from volunteers. We've not had to use Happy Trails employees to unload garbage before it could be loaded by Parks and Son. The area is clean, neat and tidy. We've had no complaints about varmints or garbage blowing around. And after the initial week or two, when we had some residents who didn't understand exactly what the criteria was, that's all smoothed out over the months since we opened that. And I think it is an alternative to the mess that we encountered a year ago. And hopefully we'll be able to continue that, but I do not have the financials. Mike?
Looks like I just have a chat here from Bill Powell. He said a report will be coming out early July with the complete financial assessment. I can say is it very favorable at this time. And just to add on that, I really agree with Steve here is that we really have come a long way with that location and the issues that we did have with it. It's been leaps and bounds from what it was before. And really looking at the numbers, we've saved without a doubt. We haven't spent any additional funds that we were not spending before, and we've cut that down as much as we possibly can. So I know Bill and I have talked about some numbers. I wouldn't be comfortable throwing a number out there without knowing what exactly it is, but I'm sure it's fairly significant considering our circumstances. So, and we continue to proceed to monitor and review and make sure we can make any adjustments financially that we can to benefit the community long term.
Okay, anything else, Steve? Are we good? Okay, I guess so. All right, new business. Steve, do you want to, on the proposal for the new air conditioning unit?
Steve, you're muted.
Steve? I don't know that he.
Steve, you're muted, my friend.
Oh, that's what that green microphone's for. I'm sorry. Oh, well. Technology, ain't it grand? I'd like to move to approve the proposal from Kinco Enterprises in the amount of $18,680 to replace the AC unit for the chuck wagon breakfast line, reserve item 303.
Thank you. Okay. Mike, do you want to explain some details on that for us?
Yeah, so another air conditioning, yay. We are looking at a unit that is over the chuck wagon breakfast line. So we did the dining room this last summer, that 20-ton unit there, and just recently realized that it's time to do some work on this. It's a 7.5-ton unit that feeds that breakfast line area in that area. It's from 2007. It's seen its life. I mean, that's just the gist of it. It's seen its life. This air conditioning unit, we did quote out through RSD of what that unit was going to be specifically for us to purchase it outright. So the unit itself is $11,000. The quotation came in at $18,680. Ultimately looking at $7,680 worth of labor for installation. So that's where we're at with it. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. It's 80 degrees in that breakfast line right now, and we got to have some air in that location. And again, we're still working on our maintenance programs and trying to get to a place where we're better about maintaining. We're doing labeling to try to improve this status, but it's seen its life. So it's where we are.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the residents? I'll call for the vote. Oops, I apologize. I didn't see you. Step right up. Oops.
Terry Bader, lot 953. Mike, has anybody ever looked into any type of sort of Johnson controls throughout the community's buildings? Because I just happened to notice that, in other words, the air conditioner in the library, it's up 24/7 with the lights. And many of the boxes, the control boxes, are open where anybody can go in there and change the temperatures. Is there any system in this place where at midnight the air conditioner rise in temperature to save electricity? Because it's just a large facility with, seems like no controls on these units. So I'm just wondering if there's anything down the future.
Not as of yet, but I think that we have to get there. We're way behind the bell curve, in my opinion, with our air conditioning units. We're trying to catch up right now. So a lot of these units should have been, had a little more attention earlier in regards to maintenance and even, possible replacement until we get to run to failure. We have that history of running to failure. So we're always, in my opinion, we're always trying to react to a situation rather than proactively. So we're working on trying to get to where we need to be, but we have to build a good maintenance program and make sure that all of our units are even to par, because a lot of them are not, before we get to the place that we're at a control measure. But yes, ultimately I'd like to get there, because you're right, they are not controlled at all.
Thank you. Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Whoops. Oh, I'm sorry. You're absolutely.
Thank you. Roberta Ernest,
Yes.
Marilyn Sorensen,
Yes.
Becca Paulson,
Yes.
Steve Deal,
Yes.
Jennifer Ellswick,
Yes.
Cindy Evans,
Yes.
and Marie Beshan.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the new stage flooring. I look for a motion.
I move to approve the proposal from Harlequin in the amount of $13,508.63 for new stage flooring in the PAC. The theater club has agreed to pay $6,000 toward the cost of replacement.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any comments or anything from the board? Okay, Mike, is there anything you want to add to that?
Thelma, did you have any statements that you wanted to add to that? Okay. I think we're good. I mean, the condition of the flooring, it needs attention without a doubt. This
Yep.
is a commercial style, floor, 4-stage floors. That's specialized through Harlequin Flooring, comes from New Jersey. And the priciest portion of this is the shipping, I'll be honest with you. So the installation will be done in-house by our staff, and it should be easy peasy.
Good. As somebody who has walked and danced and sung on that floor, I can say it's well needed. Anybody here in the audience? I don't think so. That's from theater. Other than me, well, I can say that thank you, theater, for contributing the $6,000 for that. So that's great. Although, any comments from the floor? No? All right. Then we'll call for the vote.
Okay. Roll call vote. Roberta Ernest,
Yes.
Marilyn Sorensen,
Yes.
Becca Paulson. Becca Paulson, raise your hand or say something. Oh, she didn't? Okay. Steve Deal,
Yes.
Jennifer Ellswick,
Yes.
Cindy Evans,
Yes.
and Marie Beshan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is the approval for the termite agreement. Do I hear a motion?
Yes. I move to approve the proposal from Budget Brothers Termite and Pest for treatment and a 5-year warranty in the amount of $21,345.
Well, Mike, tell us the wonderful. I'm sorry. Yes, I apologize. Just jump into there, Marie. Okay. Tell the residents about this wonderful termite problem that we have.
Termites. I'm sure that we all know, and we're in Arizona. Termites are termites, and they're going to find us one way or another. But found that we found some activity in Lapidary, we found some activity in Lantana, we found some activity in NC1, which isn't uncommon for Happy Trails. We found them over the years that I have been here. However, I haven't been able to dig that far into our contract. I found that our contract with Budget Brothers was really a reactive kind of contract that was a spot treat contract. We paid a renewal at a rate of about $3,000 a year for them to come out and just treat where they found activity. We didn't do any sub-treatments. We didn't do any foundational treatments. So we're dealing with pushing termites from one area to another area, never really gaining control. I didn't realize that was the case until we got deep into this. And after talking with Budget Brothers that we have been using for many years, they explained that, we've addressed this before and they've proceeded to propose this to us before, and we have chosen not to proceed. So my background comes from pest control, and I know a lot about termites. I did that for many years. And if we don't do any kind of barrier treatments around these foundations, we're never going to get control of these subterranean termites that we're dealing with. They feed on the wood, they live in the ground. So they're going to have to travel via mud tubes that they establish into the ground and back up to the wood. So when they put that substrate treatment, that termiticide, they trench or they drill through the concrete and treat into the substrate, that's when the material is the repellent's going to be there. So when the termites travel up through the repellent, they're coming in contact with it, ultimately killing the termites. So it's providing us warranty versus just a reactive treatment when we do get them. By far, the two major locations that have been damaged is Lantana and Lapidary. They're in really, really rough shape. I think we're going to have to look to the sawmill of helping us do some repairs after the fact when we're done with the termite treatment. The window seals are eating up pretty good, and I'm kind of scared to pull the bulletin board off the wall. But nonetheless, it's something that has to happen. We're in Arizona. The termites are going to continue to come. They do not smell wood. They travel until they find it. So if you don't have a barrier there in place, then it's a matter of time until you get termites. So that's why we're here today.
Okay.
Like this makes it a proactive program instead of reactive.
Correct. Yeah, and if I may add, Steve, is when they quoted us, you can do a 1, 2, or 5 year renewal. At the 1 year renewal is 14,395. A 2 year renewal was 16,590, and then the 5 year renewal is 21,345. So by far the most affordable would be the 5 year for the warranty.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any questions or comments from the residents? Okay, I guess we'll call for the vote.
Okay, this is a roll call vote. Roberta Ernest,
Yes.
Marilyn Sorensen,
Yes.
Becca Paulson, Steve Deal,
Yes.
Jennifer Ellswick,
Yes.
Cindy Evans,
Yes.
Marie Beshan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the street sweeping motion.
Yes, I move to approve the proposal from Sweeper Sales in the amount of $2,771 for quarterly street sweeping.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Any comments or?
Yes. So I would say probably maybe a year or a year and a half ago, we had a sweeper that was coming through on a kind of an on-call basis. And part of the problem that we had with this sweeper is that they tend to throw up a little more dust than they do actually sweep it. And when I was in the DRC office, I recall getting many calls frustrated residents that this sweeper was coming through just making a dust tornado rather than actually sweeping anything. They weren't putting enough water down. So we stepped away from that, and we haven't had them back since. In conversation, just on a day-to-day, we actually ran into Arizona Traditions managers, and they said, "Hey, we've got Arizona Sweeper Sweeper Sales, Southwest Sweeper Sales. They do our main drags with a commercial size sweeper. They're very satisfied with what they're providing them right now. This is a non-contractual agreement. The only reason that we really wanted to bring this forth to the board was really just to say, do we want to bring this sweeper back in? We have needs for this. If you go down Trigger, Dale Evans, some of those areas, you have fines that are coming out of asphalt that build up from some of the drainage areas, and folks that are walking, you might come in contact with some of that gravel, or even just contractors that drive through and may drop some dirt off in the middle of the road. It's on, it tends to be either on landscaping or on the residents to clean up those streets. So I think that the way that our mind is working here is to give this a try. We don't know how successful this is going to be, depending on what material they're going to come in with. We've told them what our concerns were. We don't want to cause a dust storm. And I know a lot of folks are really concerned about the respiratory concerns that may bring. So we're going to see it through, see how it goes. But ultimately, if we can get a bigger sweeper through that can put a larger amount of water down while they're sweeping, I think we can keep the dust down and actually maintain our streets a little bit better. So that would be the hope. Make sure sweeping isn't scheduled at the same time as yard sales. Yes, wonderful. Good plan.
Any other comments or questions on the board? Any comments or questions from the floor?
Marilyn Klein, Lot 392. Why doesn't they do it monthly and they wouldn't have a bigger problem? Is that an option?
It is. I mean, they ultimately.
Especially when the wind has been blowing for 6 months straight, and the trees have been falling down with all the.
Absolutely. So that will be something that we can adjust. And talking with them initially, we talked about, well, I think maybe we'll do our main drags on a monthly basis and then do our other sections on a quarterly basis. And we just weren't sure how it was going to pan out, but it's completely adjustable. Traditions is doing their main drags on a weekly basis, which Sweeper Sales said that might be a little bit too much. We don't think that would be necessary, but we can completely adjust the schedule. After the first time they come in and we say, hey, maybe this would be better to just do this portion on a monthly and this portion on a quarterly. We can completely adjust as we get into it. I want to see how their quality of service is before we jump into any kind of major agreements or understandings of what it's going to be. But if it's successful, I think we can make any adjustments that we really need to within the really not very costly. I mean, for $2,000 a quarter, there was a small adjustment for the monthly service, but it really wasn't. It didn't break the bank. It was like $300 difference. So, considering that, it wasn't going to be a big deal if we needed to make those adjustments on the fly.
Because of what a lot of this construction, people are taking up their driveways and putting pavers down, and the bucket truck that you've got now, the backhoe,
Yeah.
drops everything from
Sure.
all the time.
Sure.
And then the street doesn't get swept up.
Right. It needs it. Right. It needs it bad. It needs it bad out there.
Okay. Any further comments, questions, anything on the chat line?
No, just
Okay.
as monthly would be really good.
Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Aye. All right, motion carries. All right, that seems to be it. Well, I hope everybody is keeping cool and safe and drinking lots of water and good. Yes. I just wanted to say that I wanted you to know that Darlene and I are keeping active in the upgrades that we were talking about. We haven't stopped. We have met with a designer, and we are definitely moving forward. Things do move slowly, as I've shared with you before, but that has not stopped us. So we are continuing our progress, albeit slowly, but we are continuing our progress in looking at colors and flooring and chairs and tables and pool furniture, and the list goes on and on. So I just wanted you to know it's in the progress. So it's not forgotten. Yes, Marilyn? You'll have to speak up. I don't have my hearing
She was
aids
asking
yet.
about NC1. I'll talk about it in just a moment.
Is NC1 and all the roofing been done now or not?
Yes, so the roofers are on NC1 as we speak, and they are finishing up just a couple trim pieces that they had in that location. The stucco guys that were doing the repairs around the flashing, they just finished Town Center yesterday, so they're moving over to NC1 to do the stucco repairs on the backside and the flashing, and some of those pillars that were cracked when the water got behind them. So they're going to be working on that stucco repairs. But our guys, we just inspected it this morning. Darlene and I went through a walkthrough, and our maintenance crew had just finished up the flooring in NC1. They're working on the quarter round for all the trim as we speak, and we're anticipating to hopefully have that open really soon. The flooring looks beautiful. They did such a fabulous job, and we're so excited to show you guys that flooring there. And I do want to touch on a couple other things that are coming up here really soon. As you may have seen behind the dog park, we just had this solid wall that was built, and that's been an improvement that we've been talking about for some time. So that was a really neat improvement that you'll be able to see. It's been stuccoed yesterday, so we're waiting for that to cure before we paint it and match all those colors. And also, you may have seen a blast that I sent this morning in regards to asphalt. That's starting next Monday. In package 4. So we're going to be going through and doing some milling on the valley where the valley gutter is going to be. They're going to cut out 4 feet 2 inches of that location, and they'll come through with a curbing machine and they'll curb out that entire valley gutter. We're not going to mill until we're prepared to pave, because there's a good possibility if we get stuck in some monsoons here that we could have a mud pit. So we're going to be very careful about how we're milling and how we're proceeding with paving. But I would like to say, if we get any issues or any accessibility concerns that you may have, regardless of what lot you're on, please do not hesitate to give us a call. We will work with the paving company, and we will be on your property to help you get in and get out and do whatever we need to do. So We should maintain access throughout all sections the entire time of the project. We'll coordinate that with exception to when we're seal coating. When we seal coat, we'll close it for 24 hours. But we'll coordinate all of that as that's at the end of the program. So if you have any questions, please just don't hesitate to reach out, ask. It should be really good. I think we've got it down to a par by now with the asphalt, but we just want to let you know they're going to be in here making some noise in the morning and putting some liquid gold down on our roads. So I think that's it for now.
Hopefully quick. Carlene Smith, 767. Did we pursue anything the inhabiting of the pigeons at NC1?
Progressively. I mean, it seems to be a never-ending progress over there at NC1. We're continuing spikes, continuing netting, continuing trying to eradicate them from where they're harboring. So it's improved. I wouldn't say that we've eliminated pigeons in that location, but it's definitely gotten a heck of a lot better than it was. That mesh throughout all those rafters and whatnot was a big step in getting those under control, but we're still having some problems on some of the little tiny edges that they have in there, and they're liking to sit up in those locations. So we're getting creative on what we can do, and continuing to try to just exclude them for wherever they're harboring. So we're going to continue to work on that. I mean, and continue to push them until they're no longer there. Maybe we'll train a couple of these little baby hawks that are around and see if we can get them over there to eat those pigeons up. I don't know, but it's better. It's a lot better than it was. One of our biggest things now is we're trying to find a vendor that will climb up on that glass piece that's on the entrance of NC1. I had never noticed it before, and I wouldn't suggest looking at it as of now until we clean it. But the pigeons have been really hanging out in that area, and it looks like it was like a outdoor enclosure at one point in time, and it was framed in to be part of the building. So we need to get somebody that can get in that vicinity to clean that up and net it off or something along those lines, because that's where they're still hanging out. So we've got some work to do still, but we're going to continue with it until it's under control.
Okay. On that note, I'm going to call the meeting to a close. Adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
What time